from the Signature Bank Studios.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, January 6, 2025. Where were you 4 years ago? January 6, 2021, John Anthony.
I was at home watching the inauguration.
No, January 6, 2021
I was
was the day that they were trying to certify the election, making Joe Biden.
I didn't go. I was supposed to go to
No, you
DC.
said you were at home watching the inauguration.
I mean, the certification. I'm sorry. I was at home watching.
Hello, have I lost you, friend? By the way, that's
Right.
John Anthony filling in for Dan Proft today. John Anthony of Black and Right Radio here on AM 560s on Saturdays from
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Yeah, some great news coming. Can't
Yeah.
release it yet.
No. That's such a good tease. But anyway, back to J6 2021. You were going to go to D.C. and
I
you
was.
decided not to.
Yes, I did.
Why?
Well, I just felt something wasn't right. And I actually told our next guest that that's the reason why I wasn't going. Because he was trying to get me to come, too.
And that person that was trying to get you to come is Kash Kelly. He is a returning guest here on AM 560 from Hammond, Indiana. He pled guilty to his January 6th role and spent 3 years in jail for his alleged role in the J6 attacks. Good morning, Mr. Kelly. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fantastic. God woke me up.
Okay,
What's up?
sorry. All right, so walk
He
us.
said God woke him up.
Okay, so walk us through that day first. But before you even got there, when did you and how did you decide to go to D.C. on January 6, 2021?
I drove down. That was on the 5th. So spent a little bit of time in D.C., before January 6th actually happened. And the day of January 6th, I walked down there early in the morning. It's probably about 9 o'clock. And it was like a regular Trump rally. It was the energy was great. The people were good. It was just like a big family reunion, really, is what it felt like, because it was all the people that you may have seen at another rally, before January 6th. Every other rally was great.
And then from there, you listened to Trump speak, and then what? A majority of the group then marched down to the Capitol, or what happened?
Yeah. I went and we listened to his speech, and we left from there. A big crowd of people. We left from there before Trump ever said to go peacefully and patriotically, make your voice heard. We walked towards the Capitol, and when we got there, again, it was great. Everything was fine. And then while I'm standing on the Capitol lawn, I guess there was no barricades up. There was no sign saying that nobody couldn't be there, and that the police came out on the top terrace of the West Terrace, the balcony. They came out in riot gear and they started shooting people with pepper balls. They started throwing flashbangs out of nowhere. It literally was like went from we're having a great time to the police just came out and didn't tell nobody to leave. They just started acting on the crowd. So once that started happening, we were looking at police officers do these things. I started yelling at them. I'm like, "Yo, we supported you guys all 2020. What are you doing?" And I said, "We got to get the women out of here." So we moved some of the ladies that was standing there in the crowd, told them to just get out of the way. And next thing I know, when I turned back from that, the police were standing back, like moving to the side from the top terrace on the stairs. And people start walking up towards the Capitol doors. The police were standing there letting people go in. So, I walked in, and this is after they started an assault on people.
Now, do you believe an FBI informant let you in? Because they first said there was 26 there that day. Now we're learning that number might go as high as 200. Who let you in?
We've been screaming this. We've been screaming this from the start of it. People called us liars, said it was crazy. We were saying that while we were locked up, told our lawyers that we had defense, for a lot of us, saying, no, there was literal, we thought it was military and like FBI. It could have been both. We're still finding out all the things that really happened that day. But yeah, to answer your question, 100% there was FBI out in the crowd that day.
Wow. I was just called a liar. That's why I was texting you Saturday to come on the show, because this guy said I was a conspiracy theorist because I told him that you and I had talked, and you told me there were a lot of suspicious. And there's another name. Let's just say his initials is R.E., who they're saying wasn't part of that human asset, but a lot of people think. Do you believe he was part of that human asset? The guy whose initials are R.E.?
It's obvious when you look at it. I mean, how is it that you have a bunch of Americans locked up, some of which were just there saying, let's go this way? They're locked up. Yet you have a guy that was there literally the night before, standing amongst a whole bunch of people, telling them, instructing them on what they're going to do tomorrow, to the point where people were pointing at him, screaming in the crowd, chanting "Fed." It's almost obvious. They didn't bring no charges against him. They got literally everybody that you get, like grandmas. They got him locked up. And this guy, for some reason, doesn't get any charges brought against him until people start questioning his name, until he testified before the January Select Committee, which was horrible. It was a joke. And then they don't hit him with a charge to where he gets any kind of jail time. I think he got like a slap on the wrist with maybe probation and a misdemeanor charge.
Yeah. Which is probably gone.
And he was on 60 Minutes, though, saying he had nothing to do with it. I'm not an FBI informant. I'm not in the know, but I don't even know who to believe anymore. All right, so let's go back to that day. So you're walking through the Capitol, and did you touch anything? Did you break into Nancy Pelosi's office? Did you put your feet up on her desk?
No, not at all. Not at all. I walked in. I seen a whole bunch of people that were there. I took a picture with a statue. I stood on the pedestal that the statue was also standing on, and I took a picture. And then
wave the flag.
I went over to see the police. Say it again.
Wave the flag too, right?
The American flag?
Oh, yeah, that was right when I first got up there. One of the people that probably was a Fed standing at the top of the Capitol Terrace on the west side, and gave me a flag and was like, "Get in there, soldier." And me and my blood's racing. I'm like, "All right, yeah, let's go." You know what I'm saying? So that guy was there. And when I went inside, though, it was just everyday Americans, man, that I could see, and the police. So when I took that picture, I look over, I see the police officers arguing with some people. I come over there, and I'm like, yo, like, these police officers wasn't the ones outside doing what they was doing, that was doing what they was doing to us. They're just in here doing the job. We not Antifa. That's not how we get down. And they were like, yeah, you're right. And took a couple pictures, and the police thanked me. And then I left. I turned around because, like I said, I see people getting a little crazy. You got a guy trying to take stuff off the wall. You got another guy swinging at the chandelier. It started looking like chaos. So that's when I said, okay, this ain't for me. It's time for me to turn around. By the time I turned around, they already barricaded the door that I had came through, that they was letting people walk through. There was a broken window. The police told me, I said, look, I just want to leave. The police said, well, you're going to have to go through the window. I said, okay. So I jumped through the window, told everybody else that was outside, like, yo, it's getting crazy in there. I don't think y'all want to go in there, SWAT inside of there. They're like, they're ready for the business. And I left.
And Cash, now there were two sides to this, right? Was it the east side that is that where it all started, and is that why they came out on you guys' side in riot gear?
So we had the Discovery sending DC DOC, man, all the guys, we shared Discovery with each other. So we watched all the videos. So the people that came in on the West Terrace, compared to the East side, they literally were letting people in. There wasn't no pushing them back that we seen. Nobody told them to go. They were giving people tours. You know what I'm saying? As you've seen in the video, you got Jacob Chansley being, walked around inside of there amongst other Americans. But on the West side, it was all out battle. Like from the start of it, they were just against the people is what it felt like. And so on one side, you're getting let in and told that it's, a tour basically. And then on the other side, you got people being beat. You're seeing women getting pushed with shields, old women getting pushed with shields, falling down the stairs, flashbangs thrown in the crowd. Guy got down like maybe 20 feet from me, shot through the mouth with a pepper ball. Another guy drops from a heart attack. It's just it was chaos on my side.
Yeah. Well, what about Ashley Babbitt? Were you there before she was fatally shot, or were you in the Capitol during that time?
I was there while she was there inside the Capitol. I wasn't by her, like, as far as our location. When I came out of the Capitol, I was close enough for my friend that was there also to tell me that he heard the shot, like he heard the pop of the pistol. So that's when we heard that somebody had gotten shot. We didn't know that it was fatal. We didn't know any of those things at the time. But yeah, I was there around the time when she got shot. I didn't see it, and I wasn't in the location, but I was there at the Capitol.
Now, Cash, you know they've called this an insurrection. How many people there did you see that were armed with weapons, guns, trying to get past a lot of these Capitol guards? And how many people there were armed?
Well, if I was to trust the January Select Committee and not my lying eyes, I would have thought that everybody was armed. But my own lying eyes, there was no pistols. There was no only pistol that was there that day was the ones that the police had.
Oh.
So you go home, or I take it you let. When did you realize that the feds were onto you and that you were being investigated?
I knew that was coming as soon as I made it back to the hotel and I seen news. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy, you know. But officially, it was the 10th. I would say the 10th of January.
Yeah. And where were you? Did you go back home to Indiana, or what happened?
Yeah. No, I went back home and I got a phone call. Told me I had to go turn myself in.
Wow.
So you go, and did you bring a lawyer with you?
No.
Okay. So what transpired when you went in?
Well, I was on pretrial release already because I was fighting a previous case. I don't know if you know my past, but I used to be a part of a gang, and I had an indictment prior to January 6th. When I was 28 years old, I was fighting that case at the time. So when I went to go turn myself in, initially it was for a criminal complaint with D.C., but it also violated my pretrial conditions because I went to D.C. They said that I didn't have permission, which I did. I had permission from my lawyer. I called. Any time that I moved, I was traveling through the country, speaking on stages, you know, all through 2020. And they said I didn't ask for permission to go to this. And I said, yeah, I did. And I told my lawyer, I'm like, yo, you told them I was going. So, yeah, I did. But I guess he said what ended up being said was I did not tell him, and it was a miscommunication on his part, and I got in trouble for it, just for being a January 6th. So when I went to go turn myself in, they did not let me go home. They put me in cuffs. I had to go sit before the magistrate. They put me in cuffs, and then I stayed there all the way up until February 2024. Not in that location, but incarcerated.
Gosh.
What were the conditions like?
Yeah.
What were the conditions like? And I mean, you know, there's still a lot of guys and girls still locked up there. What were those conditions like?
Oh, man, when we first got there, it was really bad.
Were you in? I'm sorry. Were you in a jail or prison in D.C.?
I was in D.C. DOC with all the people that you hear about. All the guys that they told you was violent white supremacists. I was locked up with them, and none of them are violent white supremacists. A lot of good dudes, man.
Well, what was? I mean, 3 years. How did you pass the time?
Well, yeah, the only way that you could, you know, you pray. You read, you write some letters, and you make the best of it. You talk through the wall. I talked through the wall to a lot of brothers through the door. And we made the best of it, man. We just tried to find the blessings inside of all the chaos that we was in.
And Ashley Babbitt's mom, right?
Good job of it.
And
Ashley Babbitt's mom posted up outside for us, outside of DC DOC, and started the Freedom Corner. And they do it every night. They're going to be out there tonight, actually. And we built a relationship with them. So when we were able to use the phone after we got off solitary confinement, because we were on solitary confinement for about a year.
For a
year into us being there.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
It sounds like you're a political enemy.
COVID restrictions.
Oh, because
exactly.
of COVID.
That's how they treated people. And I'm the only black guy in DC DOC C2B. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, at first the COs was cool with me. And they're like, yo, what were you doing there? And they tried to, like, I was an anomaly to them. And I broke it down to them. They weren't trying to hear none of it. But they turned on me, really, when I stood up for the people that I was locked up with, because they were under the assumption that they was all white supremacists. And I'm like, bro, you know where I'm from, bro? I wouldn't get along with white supremacists. They're obviously not white supremacists, you know. And I've asked them. I sat and I've talked with these people. A lot of them was followers of mine. I had a big following on social media in 2020 before they took it. And I say, it doesn't make sense, brother. The news is lying to you. You really believe that this guy that you got in this cell over here, that he cried when he seen that they put his name up as a white supremacist and him a part of a white supremacist organization, that he cried about it. And y'all sitting here thinking that this man really don't like black folks, man.
No.
And over time of us being there, they eased up on the people, on all of us. But when we first got there, it was supposed to be 23 and ones, but we spent more than that in the cell. So at any given time, we were in that cell for about 30 to 34 hours
Hey,
before
Kash,
we got out. Which,
have you heard anything about a pardon, commutation, anything from Clemency, what that Trump's going to do? Has there been any word? Your lawyers reach out to you?
nah, I haven't been reached out to by anybody, and no one has yet. We're just all waiting. Everybody's waiting to see what Trump's going to do, if it's going to be a pardon, which I'm hoping is a pardon and not just clemency, you know. But whatever he does, I'm cool with it, man. And whatever he doesn't do, I'm okay with it as well, because at the end of the day, we know we made it through. I just hope that he gets the brothers that are locked up out.
Yeah.
Right,
That's what I asked for.
How did you get out after 3 years? What happened?
Trump had the First Step Act put into place, so I was able to complete some programs because I had nonviolent offenses, and I was able to get out.
Would you do it all over again?
Yeah, 100%.
In hindsight, okay. And what about your family? Did they visit you at all? Were you able to have visitors?
No, they denied us visitation because we wouldn't take the COVID vaccination. So after about a year of me being there, I finally took the vaccination because I broke. I missed my family, and I just really wanted to see my kids. And they still didn't let me see my family. They told me, "Oh, well, your kids ain't 18." And I'm like, "Well, y'all, I made very clear how old my kids was, and I wanted to see them." And they told me, "Oh, yeah, well, you got to get the vaccination, and then you can get visitation." So when I got the vaccine and I asked them if my kids could come, they said no. They said, well, your kids aren't 18, which was another lie. They lied to us about a lot. They wouldn't let us shave. We couldn't get a haircut or shave until we got vaccinated, and none of us would get vaccinated. A lot of us towards the end, we started to, because we're like, man, I really miss my family. You know, you go so long without human interaction, you can't get a hug from your children or your loved ones, and it starts to do something to your mind. And then being in solitary conditions, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had an app. They had an app. Kash and I used to converse through app, and then they found out I was part. They called me media. They cut my access to the app.
Really?
Yeah, I could no longer contact them through the app.
I didn't know how bad it was. I mean, Kash, thank God you made it. Did anybody commit suicide?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a couple people did before they had to go and do their sentence. Rest in peace to Matthew Perner. Mm-hmm. He's one of the main ones that I remember, because we got the article, came through the tablet, like that John was just talking about. And once we seen that, man, I read it out loud to the pod. Like, I sat there, everybody crowded around, and I read this article. And a lot of us, man, we broke into tears. I did. I shed some tears for the brother, because I felt his pain. Like, how scared do you have to be? How hyped up is this whole thing? And how terrified are you that it's going to happen to you? Because at this time, we have been getting reports out of what it was like in there and what they were doing to us, the threats from the officers about death, and them beating Ryan Sampson in the cell, and all the different things that happened. And he was so scared and so terrified of what could have been, man. It caused that brother to take his own life. And it was sad, man. It was just a real sad thing. So I know it broke his mother's heart. You know what I'm saying? And then it was a couple other people whose names I don't have, but that was the one that I remember. And then you had people, when you're locked up inside of there, that used to have them kind of talk. So, brother, I had to talk to the Ledge more than one time while we were inside of there, that was talking about, jumping off the second tier.
Wow.
Well, we're glad you made it through this ordeal, and we'll be keeping a close eye to see if President Trump will grant you clemency or pardon you and over 1,000 other people who are convicted in connection with the J6 2021 attacks at the U.S. Capitol. Mr. Kelly, thank you so much, as always, for joining us. Do you have a new X account?
Yeah, I do. It's my name, Kash, Kash Lee, Lee, Kelly, Kelly, and the number 1. But before I get off here, I would like to ask everybody to please, man, if you could, if you're able to write letters to the brothers, they got the Patriot Mail Project. You could look up everybody who's still incarcerated, their address, where they're at. Please send them a letter, because them letters meant a lot. We got letters from literally thousands upon thousands of people across this country and across the world. You know, I got a letter from Croatia and France and Canada and all types of stuff. And it meant the world to us to get them letters, man. So if you guys could, that's listening to this, please go to Patriot Mail Project and show some love to the brothers that are still locked up.
Let's work on getting that pardon in Indiana, too.
Yeah.
All right, Kash Kelly, thank you so much. Again, you can follow him on X at Kash Lee Kelly, the number 1. And Kelly, thank you so much for joining us. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free too with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. Visit relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF, 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor.
Attention American homeowners, you're under attack. Your home and equity could be vulnerable to cyber thieves. There's only one company that completely stops them, and that company is Equity Protect. Equity Protect prevents any attempts to steal your home, equity, and ownership 24/7. Get your free risk report today by texting